A quick update for you on stuff. On a couple of videos ago, I spoke to you about the chap that had a car from me 5 months ago. Told me it was the worst car I'd ever had because a fuel pipe split after 2 months and the under tray needed tightening up on it. But then he said the guys that fixed the fuel pipe left tools down the front of the engine. Sorry for the truck in the background. So he said, yeah, the guys that fixed the fuel pipe left tools down the front of the engine. But rather than taking it back to them, he fished them out and carried on driving the car around. About 2 months later, he starts to notice an oil leak down the front of the engine. So he says to me, I think they've damaged something and there's an oil leak on it. I said, well, you need to take it back to him, really. I mean, it should have been taken back to him straight away, shouldn't it? I said, but if you want an independent viewpoint on whether they did the damage or not, get the car down to my boys at Moore's and they will do a check for you. So they had a look at it, asked him to tell him where the tools were, then got the car and had a look on the ramp and found exactly where he pointed. The intercooler had a hole punched in it. So they gave him a loan car while they did this, didn't charge him anything for the diagnosis. He came back and then, if you remember, he said, is James going to stand by this? And we were a little bit shocked as to why he wasn't blaming the people that did the damage, instead looking for me to cover the cost of potentially a new intercooler, which is what it needs, a new intercooler. Well, update on that is it went down to the garage and they did initially say they didn't recognise the tools, but they did kind of say, well, we know we're the last people to work on it. I had a conversation with them and said, look, guys, you're gonna have to get it done, kind of thing. And in the end, they've got a new intercooler on the way. It's been fitted for him. It's no cost to him at all. So to be fair, I think he's got off lucky. Because he left it so long between finding the tools down the front of the engine and going and seeing these guys and going and seeing the guys about it that they could have easily washed their hands of it a little bit. Well, I don't think they could have easily washed their hands of it, but they could have been more difficult about it. So kudos to them for going ahead and getting a fix done. And he's not having to put his hand in his pocket. Presumably he's happy. I don't know, because even though I sorted all this out, I got a message at 5:30 in the morning, didn't I, to kick off about it having an oil leak. But since this has all been sorted and getting the intercooler fitted, guess what? I've not heard anything at all. I've had no emails, nothing at all. Nothing to thanks for the Moors having a look free of charge. Nothing to thank you for speaking to the garage and getting them to sort out the intercooler. That's just the way it is, guys. It doesn't surprise you. Unfortunately, we all know what it's like. It's like reviews online, isn't it? People only ever want to give a review when things go wrong. They never want to give a review when people sort stuff out or they're good in the first place. But there you go. I thought you'd want a little update on that. Oh, and for those subscribers who were threatening that they were going to leave the channel and never watch it again if I was soft and folded and paid out for this one, don't worry. I didn't actually have to put a penny towards it. I put some time towards sorting it out, but I didn't put a penny towards it. Obviously, Moores did it off the basis of the goodwill with me, because the amount of business I put their way. And obviously, like I say, speaking to the garage and so forth, we sorted it out between us. So yeah, I didn't pay a penny for it, so you can rest assured you can keep that subscribe button hit. Perhaps you're watching, you aren't subscribed, so actually just go down and hit that subscribe button. Right, trying to get a little smart roadster back up and running. Now the sun's out. My job today was to fit the side skirts back on, which fit via, where are they? Via these little clips up here. Which, the little round piece here actually goes into the bodywork of the car. Little round piece there, and then that clips into it. That slides into, well, I'll show you in a minute. That slides into the pieces on the body kit and then clips in there. Now, I struggled for a couple of hours trying to get them to go in, and they do not want to go in for love nor money. So I looked up online, and everybody in the smart world said, you won't get them in, they're a bloody nightmare, don't even try putting the body kits on, because people were talking about upgrading and putting the body kits on. They said that it's an absolute nightmare, the clips come off completely. They did one or two things. They just hooked them over the top of either end here, where they slot in and hook at either end. And then they were saying they drilled holes on the bottom and pulled it in tight with a zip tie to pull the top end in close to the body. Didn't really like that idea. Found another chap who said, this is what you do. So this is what I've done. I guess I should have shown you before I started the process, but got carried away. So where these little posts, where those clips normally slide in, they said basically fix some conduit over the top and then put heavy duty Velcro on them. And now the posts are only about that wide, so we go with a larger surface area. I have riveted them in the top here, and then I put some tiger seal over the top of that and behind it to make sure it really sticks on. On this end, there was no post at all. It'd broken away, so I made one up out of the conduit, put some tiger seal over the top to harden it up. I know it all looks a bit wrong at the moment, but we'll give it all a spray up with some black stone chip to tidy it up a little bit, although you're never going to see it. Now, the reason you don't just bond them on is because apparently they need to come off. For the rear quarters to come on, if you're doing servicing work, you remove this panel. So they have to be removable at all times. So you have to find a way of fixing them, they'll come off. You can see the factory uses a little bit of Velcro in the top corners here. So yeah, there's a few people saying they did it and it worked. So I thought, well, why not go for it? On the end here, I've used a bit of a spreader because that, if I used a conduit, it'd be sticking up too high. I had to make sure that I had the same height all the way along, otherwise it will stick it away from the body of the car. So then on the other side, I will stick the double-sided where the holes are under here. Can you get it? Yeah, where those little holes are, they fit. So we'll clean all that off. We'll put the actual double-sided tape there over the holes. Sorry, double-sided Velcro. I've got proper branded Velcro stuff, not a cheapy copy, so that it's going to stick really well. And that's what everybody says works well. So, you know, if you've got a little community of people working on these cars, it's probably best to go along with what I say. What I found is every time I try to bang those in, either the tops unclip themselves, or the little pegs would move themselves away, or they'd snap. So, I don't know, there must be some trick they did at the factory. We'll see how we get on with this. Like I say, larger surface area should get, and obviously with the Velcro, that larger surface area Velcro gives us a little bit of adjustment for hit and miss as to whether we've got it lined up bang on or not. It'll still catch. So we'll see how we get on with that. I'd like to be showing you now, but the Velcro's not arrived yet. So, and I'll let that obviously tiger seal harden off overnight so that it's all nice and firm for when we want to fit it. So much nicer working in the sunshine, isn't it? Well, that was a strange one, guys. Chap came to look at the Civic. He drove an hour and a half to get here. He was desperate to get here, didn't want me to sell it before he got here. Turned up, was here 3 minutes, walked round it with his, presumably his dad, who drove up in a new Kia Sportage. Said, oh, not for us, mate. Gave me the keys back and headed off. I said, well, you got any feedback? He went, oh yeah, it's just not condition we thought it'd be in. Murmured something about the wheels, got in the car and left. Didn't want to engage in conversation when they first got here at all. Pretty offish, to be honest, overall. Like I say, walked around it no more than 3 minutes. I'd always leave people to have a look around themselves. And just came back in with the key, said, yeah, not for us. And we started walking back out again. And I was like, well, yeah, any feedback at all? And it's like, well, the wheels. And I said, so it's not quite in the condition you want? He's like, no. And then just got and left. Now, I say I haven't had that happen for a long time. As you know, I take quite a lot of pride in presenting my cars as well as I can. I can't restore them to brand new, obviously not for the money. And I accept some people have got certain expectations, that's fine. It was just really strange. Like I say, just the whole thing there a bit offish. And it, to the extent I actually came to the car and looked at stuff like the paperwork and the books and stuff. And I don't know what they could nick, but it was weird. It was really weird. Well, I took the feedback on board anyway, so I've had a look around the car again. I mean, the wheels, they've all got a bit of anodization. They've all got a bit of oxidization on them where it bubbled a little bit. We could restore all the wheels, but I don't know. I don't want to go doing all this stuff on the basis of what one person says. I had a look around. I gave it another bit of a machine polish in a couple of little areas. Got some of the lighter scratching out. They say, you know, if someone's saying that, it's worth having it out and look yourself and just looking at it for another set of eyes. But I honestly think for the age, for 2012, let's bear in mind, it's an 11-year-old car. There's no sort of fading on it. The lights are clear. And so all you've got is on some of the wheels a bit of this, a bit of the old bubbling. So I might try and make the time to just do a rough sort of tidy up on those later on. Now, what I do think I'll do as well, though, is, well, let me grab it a sec. Yeah, I was sent this ceramic coating by GT Shine a little while ago, and I figured, well, as the car's super clean, why not take it to the next level and try this stuff out. see if we can get a really strong shine on it. So this one I think is a quick and easy to apply ceramic coating. Seals and protects your paintwork from scratches, bird droppings, bug splatter, water spots and more. Obviously I've just cut into the top layer when I did the machine polishing on it, so probably worth sealing all that in, isn't it? So do not apply in direct sunlight. And there's some clouds, we're alright. Do not allow it to sit and dry on the paintwork. Only apply one pan at a time. Shake the bottle well before using it. Wash paint, we've done that, we've got rid of contaminants, we're all good on that. For dry cars, spray directly on the paintwork on a clean microfiber and spread evenly. Use another clean microfiber to buff it away. They do this boost shampoo as well, which I guess is to top up the, I should probably read it, shouldn't I? Is to top up the ceramic spray after you've applied it. Be a nice thing to put that in the glove box of the person and say it's had a ceramic coating, and this is what you want to use to top it up. Probably a bit of a big panel to start with, but we'll start with the bonnet. I normally find with stuff like this less is more, so I won't apply loads of it on there. Didn't read if I was supposed to go in one direction or not. Right, I said not to let it dry off, so let's get straight in there with the second cloth. Well, that was easy enough done. Didn't take any time at all. Let's get round and do the rest of it and see how she looks afterwards. Well, it's like 2 minutes later and I've already done the whole side. I have to say, out of all of these types of products that I've used, this is without a doubt the easiest. Normally they say, oh, spray on and get your haze and then rub it off, and it takes forever to actually rub it off without leaving lines everywhere. But this one, it's the roof's a bit hotter, so that's probably a bit tougher. We need to get that a little bit wetter, but down the sides there, it's taken me 2 minutes max. I have to say, guys, super impressed with that. That has taken me less than 15 minutes to go all the way around this car. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like to set aside entire days to do treatments on their vehicle, this is bang on for you. And no hassle getting it off at all. I've used a lot of these products before where the hazing, you have to buff the hell out of it. Otherwise it's really hard to get a decent finish. This just wipe on, wipe off, leaving no streaks on it at all, and a really nice shine. So yeah, impressed with that. And I've only used, I think I've probably only used about that much of the bottle. I've got enough for, I could do that 4 more times, I reckon, no problem at all. And so super easy to apply. And I'll tell you what really impressed me as well was I was going to cut this plastic on the back here. I was going to get the machine polish on that and try and cut it back a bit. But actually I just gave it a coating of this, and where it was a bit oxidised, actually it's really good now. It's got a nice glossy red to it. So I'll put a link in the description down below. As normal, I've asked them for a discount code for you guys, so you'll find that in the description down below. Thanks again to GT Shine for sending that across. We'll see if we can't get involved in the raffles maybe. So we've got the Honda all tucked up inside. Oh, those very keen-eyed of you will notice there's an MGB Roadster missing. That's gone down with Chris. I've asked him to do the last couple of things that were stopping my father-in-law from enjoying it and driving it, because he gets a bit nervous about driving the older cars. We built that car together because he always wanted one. So we built it together in his garage, and I've been storing it here because really he won't drive it because there's just a couple of little things left, like the fuel gauge wasn't working quite correctly and there was a knock when you put the brakes on. So I'm hoping Chris can get all those things sorted. I can give it a polish, get it over to him and convince him that now the sun's out, he should get out and actually enjoy the car. So just picked up the little Citroen C1 that we got from BCA a while back. It's been sitting in the corner. If you remember, I missed this was a category S, I think it was. Structurally damaged when I went for auction. Then it came in and had a bad clutch. So we put a clutch in it, well, Chris put a clutch in it for me. So it's got a brand new clutch in it. So it's just been down for its MOT. Now I said to the guys, I said, money is really tight on this. I said, it's going to have some advisories. I can't do advisory free on this one because it's going to be super cheap. It's 2011, isn't it, with 89,000 miles on it? Well, the advisories didn't read too good. They left on a few things. They said the rear brakes had dirt, grease or rust, which is that generic one, isn't it? Well, I've had a little look. Rear brake pipes, I think it was, it said. I've had a little look, and it looks fairly crusty on here, but the brake pipes themselves actually in really good condition. You can just see them there. How close can I get you? There. They seem to have dirt on them more than rust. So I'm going to wire brush them down, check them over, and if needs be, we'll replace them here at a lower cost. But I don't actually think they need replacing, looking at them. Ooh. And then they gave an advisory for the damage in the boot. So if you remember, like I said, this is Cat S, and I can show you the Cat S damage on this one. Don't often get a chance to see it because it's not been done, I can guarantee you that. This carpet out of the way, throw that in the back, get this cover out of the way. The Cat S damage is here. You can see that there's a little crease there, and it's creased it there, most importantly. You've got a ding in the footwell, boot well, and what they noted was, for some reason, they decided to put down that little break in the seam there. They said that water can get in there and it can get rusty, which I'm not entirely sure what that's got to do with an MOT, to be entirely honest, but I kind of see their point of putting it down to cover their own backs. I think perhaps they're just being polite to me, but they're covering their own backs because there's an obvious crease in that corner, and that'll be your Cat S damage. They put the bumper back on and it'll ding the boot floor there. So this is one that they haven't repaired. Now, what to do with this car now, I guess is the question. Like I say, we'll get underneath, get it on the ramp, wire brush those brake pipes down and just check that it isn't dirt or grease as per the MOT, which I think it is dirt. Spray the wheels up, tidy it all up. It may end up being a loan car, but if it does go up for sale, it's only going to be like $19.95, which is going to be a super cheap little car, isn't it, really? It has got a new MOT, and they are after warranty advisories. If it was unsafe, it wouldn't have passed as MOT, would it? So you got the advisories on the MOT, but you have got a brand new clutch in it. It's just, it was serviced as well when he did the clutch, he did the oil and filter on it. The roof's got a load of old dings in it as well, I've noticed as well today. Like someone's walked on the roof a little bit. So we'll give it a clean, we'll give it a polish up. We'll put it up at $19.95, but if it doesn't sell, we will just use it as a courtesy car, I guess. And obviously if we do sell it, I think the best thing for me to do is put a picture of that ding in the corner of the boot there, put it actually on the listing and say that's why it's Cat S, you know, the score with me. Life's a lot easier when you're just up front with it all at the beginning. Taxi raffle's still going well. Thank you ever so much to everyone supporting that. That's fantastic the way that's going. Nearly at a point where we've covered the cost of taxi, but like I said, it will still go ahead either way, whether we cover the cost of taxi or not, it will still go ahead. And we've got all that tech equipment as a second option. Oh, massive thanks to those of you that said that even if you won the taxi, you'd want it to go back around again for the charity. Again, I think we've had a bit of a run of dirty rain carrying the wood chips over from the factory there. Needs a good old clean up. But yes, I had to think about it. I said to you guys that I would raffle it off for anybody that wanted to just spin it back around again for the charity. Thinking about it, that's going to be a bit long-winded. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the bum. So I think the best thing would be because you're not going to want to do the whole taxi raffle thing all the way over again. It probably wouldn't get the same level of support as this time around because you'll get a bit bored of it. So I think the best thing to do is I will sell it on behalf of the winner. That means that the winner and the purchaser will have to deal with each other, but I'll be happy to keep it clean and tidy, photograph, video, for people to come here and try it and so forth. But any deal would have to be done between the two parties, and then they could just donate the money to the charity if they so wish. Obviously, I'd only do that if somebody is actually doing it to give the money to the charity rather than just wanting to sell it. If you just want to sell it yourself, then obviously you need to be taking it off site and going and doing that yourself. But anyway, like I said, either way, if you decide not to have it, I'll still send you out the tech bundle. Like I say, I'll put a link to the raffle down below, which gives you all the details of the option of having the big tech bundle of stuff instead. Either way, I'm sure the charity is going to do really well out of it. Massive thanks again to everybody that's been entering. Some of you being extremely generous with that. It's really appreciated. It's the grand appeal, in case no one knew, it's the grand appeal that we're giving 50% to, and that's the charity that helps families who've got terminally ill children in hospital, helps them with accommodation and lots of other support. So there we go, that was just a quick run around, nothing particularly special on this one, but just a quick update of lots of different things that have been going on. We've got part exchange to go and look at in the morning, so we'll see how we get on with that one. And we've got some more appointments for sales, so see what cars go out the door. And we've got the Mini going in for its clutch, so hopefully that goes smoothly. I was on two minds about that one. I drove it again today and I thought, it is actually entirely drivable as is. I think we're back to the old, those of you remember the dog hair Astra that I put a clutch in and the clutch felt exactly the same afterwards. It is actually entirely drivable as it is. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, but I've been offered a good deal on having it fitted, so I think I'll go ahead and get it done so it's absolutely bang on. If it comes back feeling exactly the same, I will be properly naffed off. Got a few cars hanging around that have been purchased. They just haven't been picked up yet. The i10 in a couple of days' time, and like I said, you guys are going to like what's being part exchanged back in on that one. But as always, massive thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Again, thanks for the support on the raffle. And see you all again soon.